everybody, welcome back for another video. You don't often see people who want to share their blooper reel, and I've got a few things that I'm going to share with you today that are related. They have a common theme, and the common theme of that has to do with shaped ammo. And these are things that happened, and I wasn't sure how to deal with them early on, and I put them aside. And then I moved from the TCP to the VKS. I had similar issues, and again, it happened to be that it was shaped ammo, and at the time I sort of put that to the side. And I have talked about it in a few videos, and I have put up a short where I talked about the jams that you get with shaped ammo. I know there are a lot of people out there, and right up front, before you get any further in this video, realize that I do believe that people can take these shaped ammo and they can optimize it in such a way that you can eliminate 1% of the jams. So in other words, you can get 99% of the time it's going to feed properly. You can make a video and it shoots great for a few mags, and you can claim that that has been solved. It is now cured. It will not jam. But the reality is, if that jams 1 in 100 or 1 in 500 or 1 in 1,000, how many rounds are you running through there? How often do you think that you might be willing to take that 1% or 0.1% chance that this thing's going to jam? Versus a round ammo, this thing can feed anyway. It can go in any direction. It's just virtually incapable of jamming. Whereas when you feed this shaped ammo, it has to come up perfectly and feed right in and into the detents and fit properly. If it goes up and it has a slight angle for whatever reason, it'll jam. If it's shaped just a little bit too down, it'll jam. It has to do with the spring and the spring pressure. It has to do with your detents. It has to do with the surface of this, how it's shaped. If it's slippery, if there's any lube that has gotten in there, it's going to mess it up. If you've put in some modifications or you've done something that changes the weight balance, these are all things that can cause it to jam. Now, you may have a system set up where you think you got it and it's feeding well and it's feeding well and it's feeding well, but then that one day it does jam and you say, oh, well, yeah, I got a jam. You fix it and you keep going, but you're really happy because, 50 times in a row it shot. Well, to me, that's not acceptable enough. And I want to show you some of my errors. These things happened early on. A lot of them were things that I was just learning how to use the TCP, learning how to tune it up, learning how to use a new spring and a new mag. And you can see my issues that I encountered here, and I'm sharing them for you to see. It's also a blooper reel. And then I'll also show you a similar experiment that I was doing with the VKS. It turned out also to be a blooper reel, and it never made it into any of my videos before. So this is new material. It might be new to you, but it's unfortunately painful for me to watch, because this was times where it was frustrating and I got frustrated and I wasn't sure that this was going to work. And I was, thinking these air guns were more work than they were worth. And, but in both cases, the encouraging part is if you work through it and you're willing to do that, you can work through and you can find round ammo, and you can just settle down to the basics, and you can get them to work really well. But don't fall for flashy claims of people who want to sell you shaped ammo. Everybody's got them. The reality of shaped ammo is these are for rifled launchers. They're for long distance shooting. They're for breaking windows. They're for things that need to be done as part of a team where you've got other people with other launchers and firearms. And it's for those kind of purposes, law enforcement, military, etc. For individuals, I just can't see any advantage of you ever using a shaped ammo unless you use a revolver platform like the Umarex. That revolver platform is great for slugs, and all of the slug lovers out there who like to make slugs and admire slugs, knock yourself out with the Umarex system and get yourself a revolver. But if you're using a mag-fed system, round ball is the only way to go. I will never believe otherwise. But I look forward to hearing from you. But take a look at my experience. How does that compare to your experience? Are you never having any problems? Let me know. But check out my experience. Okay, a little bit of an experiment this time. I did a couple things. I did 1.5 turns on the velocity. So that should shoot harder. That's supposedly a really conservative change, will help use up most of the CO2 or all, may run out early. I don't know. The other thing I did was I put one inert ball in the chamber first, and then I put 6 Grimburgs in the magazine. I also oiled the magazine a little bit, so I should have 7 shots, 1.5 turns, and we'll see if I notice any differences, as well as how much CO2 I can get out of it. I also put a little piece of styrofoam up there. I'm going to shoot for that and see if I can learn anything from that. So let me ready here. I will charge the CO2 and ready to shoot. That was the inert round. So let me take a look. Looks like it shot very well. Just nicked the top of the styrofoam and actually went into the bullseye. I'm going to dump the rest of the magazine with the Grimburgs and see how well I can do in terms of my shooting, and then go from there. We have a jam. Yep. There you go. That's what happens. So I increase the velocity, one shot, and then I have a jam. And I just dropped the mag on the floor. So I've never had this before, so this is definitely new for me. I don't know if I broke anything, and I don't know if the magazine is still holding. I'm gonna try it again. Let's see. May not work at all. Nope. Okay, so I had a misfire. I got it out. I still have the same CO2, so I'm going to test it again. I don't know if it misfired because I had one round ball in the chamber, and maybe it's going to misfire that way, or it's not going to work now. I don't know, but it should be ready to go if there's any CO2. No CO2. Okay, trying again, this time starting from scratch. Brand new CO2. No PepperBall in there. Just Grimburg loaded in the chamber. Grimburg's in the magazine. Only difference is 1.5 turns. If it jams with 1.5 turns, then I clearly know that's not going to work, and I'm going to reverse it back to the factory setting, and then I'm going to try it again. So let's hope this works. But I don't like getting those jams. That's definitely not good. Charge it. It's charged. Excellent. So that worked pretty well. I figured we would try one more test without using the computer anymore. And let's try to go through some of these containers that I have here. I have 3 of them lined up, and we're going to shoot it from this angle. And we're going to see how far we can go through. I've got another set of them here. And I'm going to see, it's more of a test of probably of my shooting skill than it is of the penetration, because I've got to try to hit it inside the circle there. And so we'll see how that goes. And we'll see if it's interpretable. But I'm curious to see how far it will penetrate. And we're going to do an HP68 first. And then we're going to do the custom HP68 second. All right, same setup as before, exactly the same. I got a small target to hit this time. I think the chance of ricochet is much less with this approach, but we'll see if I can hit the target. We got the target. Okay, so I removed the lid this time. And the next one up is the custom HP68. So I'm going to give it a try. Yep, and that one jammed. All right, well, there it was, folks. And you heard in both of those cases, when I pulled the trigger, you heard that click of death. You do not want to hear that in a self-defense situation. It is a bad sound. When you hear that click and there's no projectile, there's nothing else after it, that's a bad thing. It happens when you start playing around with different types of shaped ammo. Even if you get your one ammo that you're going to use and you optimize it, it's optimized for that time being, but things change, spring pressures change, lube changes, humidity changes, and then next thing you know, it's no longer optimized and it's not working and it's jamming at a higher frequency. So just get back down to reality, stick with the round balls if at all possible. Everybody take care. That was my blooper reel for this week. We'll see you in the next one.